Hey everybody, we're back on our series on cleaning some weapons, and today we're going to take a look at cleaning the Glock 19. One of the things that we did not talk about with the rifles that we should have is that one of the things that's a good habit to get into when cleaning weapons is to take any ammunition that works in that weapon and remove it from the place where you're cleaning your weapon. So I have emptied this weapon of all ammo. There's no magazine, and I'm going to take, when I remove the magazine, I'm not going to leave it laying here on the bench. I am going to actually remove it to a different location so that when I'm cleaning it, there's no chance that it gets loaded again. And redundancy here with safety, but again, make sure that there's no magazine in the magazine well. I'm going to rack my slide, double check, look inside the chamber, make sure that nothing's in the chamber itself, and then I can start to clean this weapon. Now, a Glock is interesting in that the way you want to make sure that you get the slide off properly is after you've made sure that the weapon is clear, you point it in a safe direction, depress the trigger, and then you want to turn it upside down, or this is the easiest way I found to do it. You want to turn it upside down because basically you have to get it released. Here's the release buttons right here along the side of the weapon itself. So you just barely pull those back. You can hear it click a little bit. Pull the button up and the slide will come right off. Once the slide is off, you can easily take out the spring as well as the barrel. So the Glock slide, I don't want to take it down any further than this. Again, I can spray this pretty liberally and soak it a little bit and just let it sit. Same thing with the barrel, just going to soak it. Put some break free into the barrel itself. Let it sit and spray down the spring as well and let it sit. So again, basically all I'm doing is liberally placing some oil on this weapon, and now I'm going to scrub it so that I can get the large particles, the dust particles, the powder residue, any particles I picked up during the class out of there, and then we'll take all the oil off of it and then just slightly oil it and or grease it up on the rails here to have a functioning weapon again. With that said, the Glock, in my estimation, is a lot like a AK in that you got to do some work. I mean, really do some work to make sure that this gun does not function properly. I mean, this is one of those weapons that with very little effort you get it clean. I am doing the overkill version of that today in an effort to do a once every couple of months clean on this weapon to make sure that it continues to run properly. But again, you've seen these guys on the internet that put this weapon particularly through torture tests just like you do the AKs, and it performs exceptionally well. So all I'm doing is on the receiver, the lower, I am just oiling everything down, using my rag to clean it off. And again, I'm not using gloves because I can't get the oils on the weapon, or the oils or the salts from my skin. I'm basically using these gloves simply because my wife hates the smell of these cleaning solvents. And as I said again, happy wife, happy life, right? So that's the only reason I've got them going on here. So that's it for the cleaning of this bad guy. So everything's working fine. Set that aside. Now I'm going to give some attention to the barrel. Again, everything's already been sprayed down. So I am just right now only trying to get some of this debris off. And this is where my super cool pistol brush that I've been using on my rifles gets utilized for what it was designed for. So again, taking my brush in there, making sure there's no particles, and wiping all of that off as best I can. And really, I don't have to grease or oil this up. Use the chamber here. Make sure it gets good and cleaned up, because a lot of powder residue will appear here. Once I've sprayed this down with this CLP and I wipe as much of this extra debris off, then quite frankly, really have to oil it up any more than that. So the slide itself is going to have a lot of debris in it as well. Not as much up in here where the barrel goes, but again, I'm scrubbing it for the sole purpose of getting that debris out of there heavily. I want to make sure that I get the area where the firing pin is located. I want to get that good and clean so there's no obstruction. And again, just wiping off any excess oil with my handy dandy rag right here. And so, with that done, I have a good slide. Got a little bit of extra oil down in here I need to get out. And everything's good and actually ready to put back together. Actually, the spring, I forgot the spring, but they pretty much function on their own rather easily, and so spraying them down and getting them wiped off a little bit is a good basic clean. So you're not shooting and there's excess oil flying all over the place. So I've got the spring, the slide, and the barrel. Everything's cleaned up. Time to, I forgot the end of my receiver bottom, lower on my pistol. Now we're done and ready to put it back together. So now I take my slide, take my barrel, and you want these teeth, if that's what you want to call them, on the bottom. I don't know actually what those are called, but slide it in such that they're on the bottom, and it's real easy for that to be put together. Now you'll see that your spring has a little bit indentation, rounded on one side and very flat on the other. You take that rounded portion, put it at the very end of your barrel, and then pop it into place, and so everything's back together here, right, real easy. Once that is done, all you got to do is put this back on the slide. Now what I want to do before then is just on the rails, I'm going to put a dab of that grease, and you can usually do this right here on the receiver end. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take just the touch of my finger of grease and put that on the slides. Rub that in with my finger. Again, this might be overkill, but this is what I do, and it seems to work well. Once that is done, I find my rails, which are right here, and match them up with the slide, the rails on the slide, pull it back, and now I'm back in the fight. So that is a Glock 19. Real simple to do a clean on it. How often should you do this? Man, I'm telling you again, these things have been through torture tests. For somebody like me that doesn't shoot thousands of rounds a month or something of that nature, probably doesn't even have to be done, because I've seen guys put these things through torture tests where they shoot them 10,000 times and stuff. But this weapon is a real easy weapon to take care of, and it makes for a really good carry gun. So again, in this series that we've done, this being part 3, I've got this brush. I got a couple of small snakes. I've used break-free CLP, couple of small brushes, scouring pad, and some high temperature lithium grease. And that's all you needed to clean up basically your AR-15, your AK-47, and your Glock 19. So I'm glad you joined us. If you haven't seen the other videos, then please take an opportunity to check it out. If you found these informative or helpful, then subscribe to our channel and give them a thumbs up. If you feel like we missed something or need to add something in, then just put it in the comments. I don't get butthurt over that sort of stuff. Matter of fact, I really appreciate it if you've got an educated opinion and you can speak well instead of being a hater or some idiot like that. So if you've got something you'd like to share, then share it, man. Absolutely. We'd love to have anybody that has something to put in there to help others. We want them on the comments, so appreciate you for doing that. So come on, join in. Let's learn together.